like Minnie. Maybe it's like a Millie or a Mandy.
I had a great Aunt Molly.
It's Minnie! Please, who will accept? So much sadness. I see a wedding ring. An unmarried man with a wedding ring. The spirit needs to talk to you. Who are you?
What's the boogeyman?
That's not the fact. That was.
No more room in hell. The dead will walk here.
What's up, horror fiends? It's your boy, Ricky Grimes. Welcome back to another episode of the Three Corners of Horror. Once again, we have a very special guest, someone I've been dying to get on the show. Big fan of his channel, Albert from Blood and Brews. How are you, my friend? What's good?
How's it going, guys? It's nice to finally be on here. I appreciate the invitation. Yeah, I kind of wanted to start off by cheersing with you guys since this is my first time. I was hoping that would be a thing, right?
You don't gotta tell me twice.
Oh yeah, no.
All right.
Cheers. Joe, Joe, got your coffee, Joe? Oh yeah,
got my coffee, yeah.
Nice. El Jefe, the man, the myth, the legend. What's up, brother?
Oh man, talking about, nice, interesting movie. Was it Late Night with the Devil or was it Late Night with Boredom?
Joe the psychologist. What's up, my brother? What's good, my big brother?
Same thing, man. I'm good. I'm looking forward to talking to this one. Also, a show about late night show. I mean, I don't know if I stayed up for the whole show, if I fell asleep at the beginning.
All right, so before we start, Albert is a very special guest here. Like I said, I'm a fan of his channel. This guy speaks to me, man. The 70s, 80s. I mean, he's a big American Werewolf in London fan. So, my man, Albert, please tell us, and the viewers, tell us about your channel and your favorite genres, subgenres, anything you want to share.
So basically, Blood and Brews it was me and my friend. We united together over beer and horror movies. He wasn't a huge fan of horror. I was trying to introduce him to it. That's kind of how the channel started. And I really liked the old school horror hosts from back in the day. The ones that you'd see kind of dress up a little bit, walk down the stairs into the basement, and then introduce like a black and white horror film, right? That was usually a B flick that nobody had ever heard of before. So that's kind of where, for me, I wanted to like kind of bring that kind of like that vibe. You know what I mean?
That vibe is missing.
We don't have fun with it.
Yeah. That reminds me, like I was too young to really get into those shows, but Joe Bob Briggs is what I was watching when I was young. Come on,
He has something on Netflix, I think.
I haven't seen any of it. No, you mean Shutter?
Is it Shutter?
I
Oh,
feel-
Yeah, I haven't
Shutter.
seen
Shutter.
the new
Shutter.
stuff. No, I haven't seen.
I
But there's
feel late
also-
to the game when it comes to Joe Bob. I don't know why. I was
Yeah.
like just introduced to him like 2 years ago, but
Oh, really?
for me,
Yeah.
it was always like the Crypt Keeper, also Elvira.
Ooh, I missed
Elvira.
something.
So
Yeah, who was the last one you mentioned?
Svengoolie.
Svengoolie,
Yeah,
that's-
Svengoolie.
That's the name I kept trying to think over
Me
and
too.
over.
I'm like sitting here going, I don't want to reach my phone, but what's the name of that guy? Svengoolie.
Cool. All right, well, thank you for that. Blood and Brews, if you have not, check it out. I'm gonna have the description to his channel, or the link to his channel in the description, so make sure you sub to him. Great content.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
No
you.
problem, man. No problem. And yeah, let's get started. So we're talking about Late Night with the Devil. This film is a movie that I went in blind as usual. A lot of buzz about this film. It kind of came out of nowhere a bit. But yeah, this is where we stand on this one. It was released in theaters. I believe all four of us did go to the theater for that, and I appreciate that. And it's gonna come on Shudder really soon. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you watch that. Pause it here, watch that, and then come back if you haven't seen it. We're gonna spoil the shit out of this movie. So we're gonna start with Albert. This movie here, let's talk about these two characters to start.
All right.
Lily and Mr. Wiggles. Wow, interesting because I mean, this guy, Jack is his name. Failing ratings, he wants to promote the hell out of this new episode for 70s Halloween. Man, it doesn't get any better than that. Well,
That's where
maybe
he fucked up.
Maybe the 80s, I don't know. But yeah, that is where he fucked up. But he brought Lily onto his show, a survivor of a mass suicide, and apparently she's possessed. So, Albert, jump us off. What did you think about these two characters, Lily, and of course, the one inside, Mr. Wiggles?
Well, growing up, my mom was always freaking me out about possession films not having Ouija boards in the house, stuff like that, right? So when I think of like possession style films, and they've always had like that special place in my heart, especially going back to The Exorcist and then all the ones that following you got, like The Conjuring. There's so many good ones out there, right? I mean, I feel like I could go on for days about that. But so when I saw that this film was going to go into that, it got me super excited. I mean, what I thought about these two characters, they're creepy. It was strange. It made me curious to know more of the backstory, you know? And I liked the fucked up backstory having to do with her being the sole survivor of a satanic cult. I thought that was a really cool idea, you know, and I really thought that whenever you take a younger actor and put them into like the focal point like that and they can sell it, that's awesome, right? When a younger actor can pull it off like that, it's just like, oh man, that's great. So
I like how you mentioned a younger actor because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but this is her first film, her first feature film,
I think it is,
right?
yeah,
The actress,
I think it is, yes. Like JR said, when you walk out of here, you have some questions here. What I did like was Dr. June helping her get through surviving this mass suicide. I mean, did she really survive it, or is she part of the reason that all these people kill themselves? That's, you know, for me was a little questionable, as Albert said, getting to know more about the character. I thought the girl did well. I questioned it though, because when we all said before we logged on to do this, we're all going to rewatch this. The one thing I noticed was her demeanor, because while she came across innocent, I kind of feel like Mr. Wiggles had been there the whole time because of the fact she looked weird to the camera. She's like, which way should I look? And then she like, and I'm like, why is she so like, I get it, but
awkward.
It's very, very awkward. And then just the way she spoke. So for me, maybe Mr. Wiggles had kind of always been there, you know, because of where we'll tie it up, you know, when we discuss the final act. I loved how great she did though. That little girl was fucking creepy. You know, I'm not gonna when that bitch's head split open, I would have booked it. Matter of fact, when she pulled the Xanadu electricity and I'm like, yeah, we're out. We gotta go. I mean, like, it's about to go down.
I think
You
the
know,
crowd did book it, didn't they?
they
At that
started
point?
to. I know. I would have been gone. That's what I'm saying. Like literally, I'm like, it's about to get like some Carrie shit going on right here.
Yeah.
So I like the characters. Same thing. If maybe when Jack was doing the interview, they would have given just a little bit more of what happened to tell you more of her story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I Mr. Wiggles, what a great, like, so childlike. And I probably, isn't there a Wiggles toy? Wasn't there a Wiggles toy back in the 80s also?
If there was, I ain't have it.
Yeah, I never used
I thought there was something. But yeah, no, the like, you know, the girl did great. My only question was that I kind of always felt that she tricked June, and it was Mr. Wiggles the whole time.
June was what's that word? We just talked about it on
She's a
Deep Red.
parapsychologist.
Yes, so that's a psychologist that deals with paranormal, is it?
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
JR, man, what up, son? Talk to me, bro. What you think about these two?
I thought they were pretty cool. You know, I kind of wish they would have had a little bit more with her. You know, but the fact that, you know, remember that the cult sacrificed young girls to bring on this demon. I think it was called Braxis.
Abraxas, yeah.
Yeah,
Abraxas.
and they needed the young girls to bring the demon out. So for me,
Yeah.
I mean, she was possessed when she came out. I mean, it was kind of, you knew that was happening, and the fact that when she came out, like you guys say, weird, but man, I was like, yo, this little girl, she like she's throwing little shots at Jack and stuff, the way she talking and being friendly with him, and the fact that her, like you guys said, her demeanor, the way she just looked around the crowd, looked in one direction, looked in another direction. Every time she turned to Jack, she smiled. So you kind of knew when she came out that she was kind of playing everybody. The demon was there, anxious to play. So for me, it's like Lily was never truly present. It was always Mr. Wiggles that was present the whole time. But yeah, I mean the whole interaction with June, I kind of liked that because you don't see that as far as you know a demon being brought out, even though, like I said, she was there all the time. But demon being brought out through hypnosis, through a trance, in order to, because you figured she could have broke the wiring anytime she wanted the whole time. But the fact that she was playing June as well, I think it even makes her character a lot better. And if it's her first role, I think she has a hell of a spot in horror because she pulled that off pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say something really crazy. You guys are gonna bug out here. I talking about the character of Lily and Mr. Wiggles and how we wanted kind of more. I actually wanted this movie to be a little longer, to be honest with you,
Yes.
bro.
Because
I
that's how
hate
you
long
would-
films. You know what I
that's
mean?
how you would, yeah.
I'm always saying
Completely
truncate these
agree.
motherfuckers, but no,
Yeah.
they definitely left you wanting more because it's
Mhm.
very ambiguous in a lot of scenes here. But let's shift over to the character of Carmichael. Now, Carmichael, based on a real person, James Randi, who pulled the exact same stunt too with offering the money, and he never paid up because no one ever took him up on it. So, what he did to Gus now. This is interesting because when he hypnotized Gus, right, to kind of say, no, what Lily did was fake. You were hypnotized. I'm gonna kind of replicate that. Trust me, I got this. And he made Gus think he was just ripping worms out of his body and all over his fucking a little nick on his neck turned into a giant worm coming out. So really weird. Albert, going to throw to you. Let's talk about this. So, what did you think about that scene with Carmichael hypnotizing Gus and the aftermath that preceded it?
This was the part of the film that kind of like is where the turning point was, right? Where it kind of like escalated the whole film, and it made me think like, what the fuck's going on now? I did like it, but it does make you question what's reality and what's actually happening in the film. And are we dreaming? Are we going to wake up at some point and you're going to be like, oh shit, he was just imagining this whole thing. So it does kind of that's the part in the film for me that made me think, here we go. Like, we don't know what's happening, what's not actually happening, even though we're viewing it right now. So, I mean, I did like it.
Yeah.
It did make the movie more trippy though. And it raised a lot more questions, I guess.
It did. JR, when he hypnotized Gus, did you find that plausible that hypnosis can make you see shit like that?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely.
You believe in that?
I mean, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the fact that he did it to the whole crowd.
Yeah.
But could we just say, poor Gus? I mean, if anybody suffered the most in this film, it was Gus. Because right from the get-go in the movie, he just wanted to have a conversation with Jack. Jack kept blowing him off. He kept telling him, listen, this is bad. You got people shooken up and they didn't give a crap. And then the poor guy gets put into a trance where he's literally stripping and ripping into his stomach. And, the fact that, he was the one used in 2 scenes in this film that basically helped throw everything into disarray, because what Lily did to him was another one. He's like, holy crap. But I mean, I liked that character because you always need that guy who's trying to prove people wrong. And the fact that was his sole goal. I mean, you knew he was never going to give anybody money. But the fact that when the other dude threw up, he was like, oh, well, he used this, he used that. I mean, every little thing, use this, use that.
It was plausible because people do regurgitate our command. Yeah. People can do it.
And then at break time, he goes talks to 2 women. Hey, people approach us. So this guy knew everything. He knew all the tricks of the trade.
Yes, yeah.
And
Well,
the fact
because he was a shyster himself, so he
he
knows.
was a magician. Yeah, he was
Yes,
a
yes.
magician, so he knew
What was
how
it?
to
Carmichael the Conjurer?
Yeah.
Yeah, Carmichael the Conjurer.
And it was pretty cool the way he did the watch and turned it into the the thing that hypnotized. But yeah, I
Yeah.
thought his character was much in this film, and I'm
Mhm.
glad they kind of did that because they could have went a different route, different, like another paranormal expert. But the fact that they brought somebody that played as a second antagonist in the film,
Mhm.
I thought was a great character and well done because the fact that, like I said, you needed this character because he was the one that kind of set the trigger to kind of antagonize and get Lily going.
Mr. Wiggles.
Mr. Wiggles to to the point that we're sitting there like, what the fuck just happened? And yes, I still don't know what the hell happened. I'm still trying to figure out a couple days later.
I like the fact that Jack is smart enough to bring a skeptic as a guest because he knows he's going to be antagonizing. He knows he's going to be confrontational, and controversy and debates like that, it's intriguing and it gets people to really pay attention and listen and brings the ratings in. And that's what this whole movie was about.
Yep.
We'll get into the Grove later, but yeah, it's all about the show is kind of dying a bit, and he's trying to bring it back up. He's against Carson, man. It's a hard sell. Joe, talk about your boy, man.
Oh my God.
Carmichael. I know. When I saw this movie, I was like, Joe's gonna like this guy.
So I gotta
It's like him in a like him way or like him as a I hated this guy, but he was entertaining way.
He was. And it's funny because like both characters use hypnotism, and hypnotism is still used. I mean, it's for people get hypnotized to stop smoking cigarettes.
Well, Joe, you
it
would
is
know. You would know. You're the
it's
psychologist.
it's the power of persuasion, basically what's going on. Fun fact: I fucking hate worms. I hate fishing.
Worms too.
We used to go fishing. JR can but we used to go fishing. I swear that I've been told that this story is wrong, but I thought that night crawlers had like little teeth on them, like the worms, and they can actually bite onto you. I was told they don't. That's how I remember it. That's how much I hate worms. And then I don't know, Albert, since you said there was the 80s movie Squirm that totally fucked me up as far as worms. And then it's in this movie. And I'm sitting there like Albert, I'm like, okay, starting now. And then I saw that, I'm like, really? We're going with worms? It was probably the grossest scene in the whole movie, at least for me. Seeing him rip his stomach open and the worms coming out, I'm like, oh God, it's been a while since I've seen something involving a lot of worms. I fucking hate worms. Like, this is the shit that can happen to you. It can't, but that's what I think about. Because we did Creep Show and the roaches thing. It like bugs inside you and coming out like that. It's like the worst thing. So I liked the Carmichael character. I did like, that he was an antagonist. Only because if I was sitting on the panel, I too would kind of be the one going, well, all right, well, you can just, this is what you did. I would be that person. But yeah, poor Gus. I mean, Gus really,
Poor Gus.
like he's like, dude, like people have left already. I don't think we should do this, And Carmichael was the one that basically, I think Mr. Wiggles got pissed off that this asshole is sitting here and taunting me. Like I came on, there's a reason I came on to this show, and it involves, Jack. But now this dude is sitting over here fucking with me. All right, I'm about to show you. But I did love how when Carmichael went to question it, and then they showed his footage that basically showed you they had hypnotized the crowd.
Yeah.
And then they showed Lily's footage, and he's like, again, that's when he should have paid that 500. Was it 500,000 or 100,000?
It was $1 million by the time he was. I think it was 500 grand, and then he went up to $1 million.
That was the point that he should have wrote out that check. You know, all right.
He tried to give it to Lily, and Lily didn't
There
want
you
it.
go.
Well, no, by then it was a little too late. He pushed Mr. Wiggles a little too far.
Yeah. What was it? What was his reasoning? He's about like doctored footage or something. What did he say? That
Yeah, he kept saying that they knew that
camera tricks.
that they were coming on. That, yeah, he
What
basically
he turned on Jack. He said that Jack was the one that had everybody going. That he lied to,
Yeah.
the Lily.
Yeah,
he
of
lied
course,
to
yeah.
June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, let's go to the final act of this film because this is where I really want to touch upon because there's a lot of little bits in between that I really want to touch. Albert, in this final act, what stood out to you? Did you understand what was happening, and did it really deliver as far as leaving you satisfied leaving the theater? Oh shit!
Right,
Oh my man!
He's the beer to talk
Time for
about
beer
this
number
part.
2, guys.
anytime
Let's do it.
Oh, are we doing that? Okay,
Well,
good.
I'll take a shot for that. I'll take a shot
Are
for
we-
that. Joe,
well,
what's
no,
your shot,
'cause-
Joe? What's your shot?
Well, no,
Whoa.
I'm refilling the rest of my beer for this one.
I'll
'cause,
take
yeah,
take my shot while you do your beer.
I still have my shot, but I'm gonna also.
Albert's like,
refill
all
my
right, we're
beer."
gonna get into this. I need another drink for sure, man. 'Cause this is.
I agree, though.
I gotta
agree.
get Buzz or to discuss.
This
What
that's
the
my
hell
boy
just
right
Rick,
here.
Rick.
Salute, brother. Salute. Yeah, man. That's how we roll.
Cheers, guys. Oh,
Cheers,
cheers,
brother.
bud. Cheers.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
all right. So the final act of the movie, I mean, I feel like it takes it from an 8 and jogs it up to like an 11. And it's kind of making you think. And that's when they bring kind of the CGI in, right? The
Yep.
weird
AI.
CGI that kind of hits you a little bit off. So we are doing spoilers, correct?
Absolutely, my
Yes,
friend.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And so, yeah, for me, and we're at this point where it's like, am I watching something that he's daydreaming? Because we have some dream sequences too, right? Where he's envisioning his wife that had passed. And so we're not, for me, it was like, I don't know what I'm watching right now. Is this really happening? Is he imagining it? Is he possessed right now? Is he being, messed with his brain by someone in the group? Like I was just like, what's happening? So that's kind of like the stuff that it leaves you thinking about after you're leaving the film, right? Like what actually happened. And that's where I feel like I kind of need a rewatch on this one to get the full, like, maybe I can see things I didn't see on the first watch.
I couldn't agree more with that. It's true. This movie does require, at least for me as well, a second watch because the ending, it was like the final act after Lily really fucks everybody up. And it goes from there to the point where Jack gets ushered off stage, and then we get all this exposition of, and telling you what's really going on. But it's done, like you said, you don't know if it's a dream. Is he thinking about it? Is it hallucinating? Because we already know hallucination was thrown into the narrative. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows? Joe, I'm gonna throw it to you now, man. What your thoughts? Final thoughts, brother.
Hold on.
Well, final act. I keep saying I apologize, man. It's not. It's
All
not
right.
word, bro.
I'm gonna take a little more here.
Hold on, bro. I want to see you. How wants to have that
Chug it.
glass going?
We have a guest. You should chug it.
Yeah,
This is
bro.
all-
We have a guest. No, come
So
on.
what? What the fuck
Yeah,
you think
come
this
on.
is, bro?
Go.
All right.
All right, there you go.
You want it to
All
do
right.
too much, then you got to get up in peace. So we're good.
I
Yeah.
know.
You got to take that whiz.
Before Evil Dead Joe comes out.
All right. So, as it turns out, Jack had gone to the Grove. That is where Jack had actually met Mr. Wiggles.
Real quick, the Grove, that is a male-only exclusive
Yeah.
club.
The rich people went to back in the day.
That's kind of what Lady Gaga's into and all that stuff, right? They go in there and do weird, random shit, right? They deal with the cult and witchcraft and all that stuff. Am I reading that right?
Basically, like it's an Illuminati.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think this
I
is the
know.
best part to throw this in there.
Well, I would answer it to you if you stopped cutting me off. When Mr. Wiggles talked to Jack like he already knew him. Because it turns out Jack had gone to the Grove. He made a deal with the Grove. So during this hallucination, you actually got to find out that his wife's cancer was caused because of deal that he made. that was the price that he paid for his show becoming bigger. So when Mr. Wiggles showed up, he basically reminded him of everything. Here's the deal. And you got the flashback of him back in the Grove. In my closing thoughts, you guys are going to be amazed that I paid attention this much because of how I watched this movie. But
Thank you.
that, like, it all tied it up. And then you're left at the end where his wife is basically telling him, you know, take me out. And he stabs her with the sacrificial knife that was from the suicide or the mass killing, one of the artifacts that was brought from there. And then we come back to reality, and he actually put it through Lily. So, yes, same thing right towards the end of some questions because you hear the police sirens coming in. So, did he imagine all this and basically kill all these people? Or did Mr. Wiggles actually was there, did all that, and he stopped Mr. Wiggles? But that's where the tie-in to that's how the movie connected the show with the Mr. Wiggles and Lily appearing on the show is because he made this deal with the Grove. He got his show, he's getting his ratings, he was up there, he still hadn't beaten Carson. And I think the only episode that he beat Carson on was the episode that his wife, was it Minnie? I think was his Minnie was his whatever love name that he gave her, which when Christu had said, I'm getting a message from a Minnie, like for me, that's how I kind of felt Mr. Wiggles had been there all along, because Christu may have also been a fake. But
he was a fake. Oh yeah.
Right. But Mr. Wiggles was putting when it was that moment where he's like, oh, I'm getting something, and you see the possession, the eyeballs going up.
Man, yeah. I didn't catch that.
That Mr. Wiggles was now in Christu talking to Jack.
They were sacrificing the girls, young girls, in order to unleash the demon.
Oh,
so
shit. You're probably
that's
right.
why he was telling people, stop watching the TV. Stop watching the TV. Then they had that little glimpse where you see the demon in the TV. Then to top it off, I think the biggest question I have was for a character that they showed often, and they never explained who or what he was, because sitting in the crowd was a dude in a skeleton suit, and they never explained who that.
He showed up
person
again
was.
at the end too.
Yes, and for me, I always thought that person has something to do with what was going on.
I think he was a member of the Grove.
I think he was a powerful member of the Grove because of the fact that when Jack went up to him to joke with him, you could tell Jack felt some uncomfortable for more than one reason, not just because the guy is dressed in a freaking skeleton suit. But I mean, so what confused me is that, all right, so you know that he made a deal with the devil in order to make it a show, even though his show was still failing. And for me, the way I took it was that his time was up because he got the ratings he wanted. And that's all he wanted in the first place. So he wasn't, for me, going to make it past that night. So this was his last night on air regardless. That's the way I took it, because of the fact that, one...
Well, a lot was riding on it.
A lot was riding on the fact that basically that was the deal. Make my ratings go high. And it's sweet weeks. You know how sweet weeks are. You have to have the highest ratings.
Cutthroat.
So he got what he wanted. And unfortunately, Mr. Wiggles is like, all right, now you got what you want. I'm going to take everything away. But I'm going to remind you of everything you did to get here.
And what I already took away from you, because he took Minnie.
Well, because he gave up Minnie.
Did you guys notice Minnie when they played the footage back?
Yeah, she was there in the crowd.
She was there, right behind him.
I honestly did not. At first, I didn't. I noticed it when they showed the replay. So,
that when they showed that was when Carmichael called him out and said, "You're the one. This is you. You're leading everybody on. You're lying to everybody," which was hysterical because when Carmichael tried to give Mr. Wiggles the money, he dropped to his knees and he said, "Oh Jesus," like twice, because he doesn't believe in Jesus. But I was saying he believed in Jesus because he wanted to give the money.
But you're about to die.
Well, he wanted to give the money. Basically, here's the money. I want to be your servant. I want to be your servant. You know. And the funny thing too was, I remember when Carmichael put Gus in a trance. Gus is like, well, you know, as long as you don't turn my head backwards, you know, like
foreshadowing.
Oh my God, poor guy.
Poor guy.
I mean, foreshadowed that one. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still left with so many questions because it was. I mean, I know we like ambiguous endings, but this was like beyond ambiguous because you still don't know. And I didn't go alone. I actually went with my wife, and she watched it. And she's like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. I don't. And we literally sat there through the credits trying to be like, all right,
But that's a
so
good thing. That's a good thing.
yeah, no, it
yeah,
is.
no,
But at the
Not
same
always,
time,
but for this film, it
Yeah.
works because I think it's done by design.
because yeah, you exactly don't know what happened. Not
Yeah.
for nothing though. If all that chaos has happened, you figured they would have called the cops a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the fact that the cops came after whatever he committed.
This was also back in the 70s, so somebody needed to run to a payphone to call 911. There was no cell phones.
But everything is airing live, so you figure
Oh,
the
you're
way
right. Somebody from home could have called
the
911
way
and said you better
people
show up
would
at
have
the video.
reacted back then, they see
Yeah,
something
correct,
happen
right.
on TV, they're quick to rush.
You call
Cops
them
are quick to get there. So yeah, it was left a lot of questions. Yeah, I'm still. I definitely. I was hoping it would drop before we talked about it again.
Yeah, same
'Cause
here.
I wanted to see it again because I don't know how to tie the ending up. I mean, he basically sacrificed his wife to get what he wanted.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what it was. Like, he sacrificed the wife. It kind of felt that in him sacrificing the wife, now your comeuppance comes up. Hey, Rick, I used the word right.
Come on, he was
So
having sex with Susan.
the ending was his comeuppance, and
Yeah.
he made a deal with the devil. Unfortunately, it wasn't a lucrative deal because now on live TV, you just put a knife through a young girl's heart and killed her, and the police are showing up.
And who knows what the actual footage looked like? Because if it's recorded live,
Exactly.
you would see
Right.
Lily killing everybody. I mean, she killed Gus. She hung June by her own necklace.
Ooh, that was a great scene.
Carmichael gets burned to a crisp. Yeah, so people saw that on TV, but we don't know if they saw that because we don't know. Wait, did that happen, or was that all in Jack's head?
By the way, with June the neck, second goriest scene in here. That was like that leg
I'm so
thing.
distraught.
I know.
What the fuck is that?
If we would have had this,
No, leave it up. Leave it up.
Yo, but he took it out really slow. Just
Yeah. I love it. Joe's talking.
Well, no,
This is severed fucking foot.
as he's talking, because I said earlier that I thought he had grabbed
That's
his leg
awesome.
to put over his head. So
Joe likes the toes down there. Joe likes the toes down there.
Joe is a toe man. He is. Yeah, that's his fetish. All right, guys. Let's go to closing thoughts right now. Albert, closing thoughts. So right now, if you're not familiar, anything, no matter what point of the film, anything you want to bring up that you noticed,
So
things you liked or disliked, and give us your rating, 1 through 5. Of course, 5 being the highest. 1 is.
we also we allow halves and quarters. So like if you went 3.75,
Okay.
we're good with that too.
I always rate movies 7 out of 10, so that's a little bit harder for me. It would probably be a 3.5, I would assume, because I was going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. But David Dasmalchian really sold it for me, and I feel like he's been like creeping up on the horror scene for a while now, and he's like in the horror awards. Like I want to say I think he did an appearance on the Chainsaw Awards. I think he's been in multiple horror films. He's got a horror comic, and I wanted to bring this up to Ricky because I know I've watched you mention comics, right? Several times.
Yeah. All three of us actually raw comic fans.
That's all three of us.
The whole channel, man.
So basically, I've been collecting Count Crowley. I know David is
that Dark Horse.
Yeah. Yeah. The lead guy on that. Did you need to see that a little bit?
Yeah,
better?
bring it up. So, all right, what's David's involvement? He's a writer. Oh, look at this.
Oh shit! Nice.
Count Crowley.
Definitely worth checking out. It's fun, and it thinks outside of the box when revisiting like the old school monsters. So I really love that. But point being,
thank you.
David's taken over the horror scene in my mind, right? And so you taking a 70s retro Halloween horror film, right? And it's just got that, it pushes the found footage genre. and it's just got great vibes for me. It's got a good story, great acting, and I need this in my physical media collection.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones where I want to be able to have it and look at the case and whatever, right? Some movies I watch them the first time and I don't need that in my library, but that one I feel like I definitely want that one. So
Yeah, good
hopefully
show.
that answers your question.
No, more than enough. I was actually planning on hitting up the local comic shop within the next couple of days. I'm gonna look for that. I'm gonna see if they have any of those. When
The
did that come
third
out? When did it come out?
the third volume of the second series came out. So they had a first one, right?
It's okay, got you.
And so now we're on the second series and we're on 3, and that just came out today. And I actually, after I get off with you guys, I'm gonna drive over there, not myself. I'm gonna have someone drive me over there. I'm gonna go pick
I
up
love this guy.
the third comic, because that's what I've been thinking about all day. I'm like, oh man, I gotta get that third comic. It's Wednesday. It's Comic Book Wednesday. Let's get over there and get that. So
Hold on, you're kind of scared me.
know.
Bro. It's Thursday, bro. It's Thursday. Wait, is it really
oh,
Wednesday?
it is Thursday. It came out yesterday.
I thought you
Oh, I'm like,
Thank
oh
you.
no, you are
Hold
late
on,
to get there.
hold on. I don't. Wait, is it Wednesday? Are we recording on the wrong day?
You're late
It's
to
the
get
beer.
there.
It's the beer. It's hitting finally.
This is one of these movies that I mean, once again, the hype.
Yeah.
There was so much hype behind it
Was it
because
too?
I mean, and I love found footage horror. That's my favorite genre, and I was so looking forward to it. So I went in already putting it on a certain pedestal because it's just the way people talked about it. Now.
I agree.
I agree.
Yep,
The
yep,
acting,
yep.
the acting was amazing. The acting was very good. The acting carried the film. And for me, is like I do agree. I think this film needs like half an hour more because I just feel like
Rushed.
there was so much story that was untouched that if they would have tapped into a little bit more, like a half an hour longer with Lily, I think this would have pushed this film even more. Because the ending wouldn't have been that ambiguous and drive you crazy because you would have got more background. And you kind of wanted that whole play between Lily and Jack because I feel like it was there, but they kind of held back on it a little bit, which is understandable because you kind of want to know what Lily, Mr. Wiggles, is really up to. But at the same time, you needed a little bit more of that story. And, you know, exactly more about Juna as well. I feel like the Lily characters should have been a little bit more in this film.
Explored.
More fleshed out. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
being
yeah,
that they
yeah,
were so left out to the point where they come on and it's like almost like 20, 30 minutes, but they should have been like at least an hour between this because this is in the film. If you look at sweeps, this is the sweeps, the last hour before the end of the show. So
Yeah.
they should have carried a little bit more. The Gus character, I love the Gus character. Dude. You feel bad
He's
for him.
getting other stuff.
See, I thought Jared would be more of a Leo guy.
No, the Gus character had me dying because even when his head turns back, it was a pause. And then he just drops face. I mean, well, back of the head first, but
Yeah, like, fuck.
and everybody's just standing there. Like they don't even know if it's that really happened or
Yeah,
what.
because they
but-
just saw worms and shit.
Yeah,
they saw
everybody, they were hypnotized and like, is this real or not?
But yeah, I mean, I wish there was a little bit more to. Don't make a sequel because you ruin the movie. Just leave it as it is because I think
Yeah.
they'll explain way too much and then they'll kill the whole concept of the first film. But leave it the way it is. But I'm gonna give it a 3. I wanted to go more, but like I said, I wanted half an hour more. And the fact that it's good when a movie at the end leaves you all messed up wondering what happened, but I feel like this movie could just add a little bit more like context to the story to really push itself because it is a good movie. It is a good idea. It feels fresh in a way.
You guys suck because that gulp of beer is really kicking in on me. Like I'm like sitting here like fuck. I'm trying to hold my thoughts.
Come on, man. We
together.
got blood and bruise here, bro.
Yeah,
Gulp
I
is
know.
nothing
Yeah.
for you, bro.
So
Nah.
all right. So for me, I'm actually gonna go 3.75. That's my only problem with the movie is that the first half of the movie, while it's filling you in on
So
the
the pace- the
characters,
pacing, you're not a
the
fan.
pace. Oh my god! I mean,
Yeah.
again, if you're gonna watch this movie, do not be hungover, and do not be hungover on 4 hours of sleep. That's the other part too.
Oh,
So
man. One thing I wanted to mention is I want to give a shout out to the narrator of this film. Any one of you know who that was?
actually, I don't.
Mm-mm.
Michael Ironside. He's the narrator.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
was like, oh, wait a minute. I call him immediately. Like, that's Michael Ironside right there. Yeah. So the Joe, it's weird 'cause we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. The beginning you were kind of ho hum about, but the ending, not that I was ho hum about it, but that's where it kind of lost me a bit because the movie was kind of grounded in a sense. But then when it gets into all of a sudden, wait, it's in his head. What's going on? It's all of a sudden it shifted too quickly for me, and I didn't know what was like. I didn't know. All right, well, all of a sudden he's walking. He's got the skeleton guy behind him. Now he's talking to his wife in the hospital. You know, well, not wherever she was. You know, the nursing home. I don't know, but it felt so abrupt for me, and that's why I was like, I wish we had more time to flesh this ending out. Not the whole movie. I think the movie was paced pretty decently because I love the 70s aesthetic, man. The clothing, the hairstyles, everything matched perfectly. Even the Halloween. That's how Halloween was. I was born in the late 70s, 79. I don't remember that, but
That you were born in '79. You don't remember that?
Nah, I don't remember 70s, man. I was born in October. I only had 2 months in the 70s. So.
I'm October also. Woo.
So, but I love even whether it's 70s, 60s. I love period films.
Yes,
I adore them, and this one was done so well because it felt like a late night talk show. And you guys mentioned it's a found footage film done in a way where we haven't really seen it before. It was playing the show, and then when they went to commercials, that's when we saw all the backstage stuff and how stuff really works. And let's be real, that's how real TV is.
It is.
Once they yell cut, it's completely different. Everybody drops their characters. Everyone drops the facade. All of a sudden, all the money starts coming in, and the money talk. He's telling Gus, if you want a job, shut the fuck up because we're gonna get canceled if we don't do this. So I felt all that. I loved it. I loved every second of that. I'm not giving it the highest rating. I'm gonna give it a 4 because I appreciate the aesthetic, the character detail that they put within the sets, the wardrobe, like I said, even the dialogue, the feel of Halloween back, late 70s, early 80s. Like it had that feel to it, and that's not easy to pull off. And the fact that they thought outside the box and gave us something fresh as far as found footage. We got mockumentaries. We got, what is that called? Like the movie, JR, you would know, the missing and like the webcam stuff, like the searching and shit like that.
One cut.
One Cut of the Dead's a great example. There's so many different types of found footage films, but this is the first one I've seen that dealt with production. This one being a late night 70s talk show. And especially during that time, the occult was huge during this time period. So, yeah, I dug it. I wish it was I don't want to say 30 minutes longer, but give us a good 15 or 20. But, flesh it out. I want to flesh out the characters like, Lily and June. I wanted to know a bit more about June. And June and Jack had a relationship, and it wasn't really touched upon too much. Maybe because it wasn't too important to the narrative, but
but it was important because that's how she almost got on the show. Because when he had for me, the way I took it is that he had the relationship with June. June told him about Lily. He's like, I want you on my show.
Yeah, and the last thing, the Grove, like this place, a lot of these cult places exist for real, and one of them. One of the symbolisms is owls. And what's the name of his show?
Night Owls.
Night Owls. Yeah. So
hello, Batman, Court of Owls.
All right. So what we do when we have a brand new guest on Horror Fiend TV, we're gonna ask you, Albert, your top 10 favorite horror films, so we can kind of gauge where you stand on your fandom. Now, if you want to start from 1 through 10 or 10 to 1, it's totally up to you. So the floor is yours, my brother.
I've been waiting for this. And we're going to go 10 to 1. The first 5 are kind of whatever. And the second 5 are, it really depends on the day. because, anyways, I hope that you guys notice a common theme with these films, because these are the types of films that I was raised on.
Yeah.
And I know that it's contradictory to a lot of films that other people coming up from when I was coming up are raised on, and that being slasher movies compared to creature features, right?
Yeah,
All right.
true.
So
We're gonna love
let's hit it. 10, I have From Dusk Till Dawn.
Ooh, that's the first
But-
on our list.
It
But
is.
with that, I also have 30 Days of Night neck and neck with that. I have both of those films at like 10, because like any given day, those could swap out. And like one day I want to see more scary, one day I want to see more campy and fun. So depending on, because I mean, Quentin Tarantino making a horror film, I just wish that we could get more of that, right?
Oh my god, yes.
Number 9 is probably going to be Teen Wolf. It's super nostalgic for me, and I was
Ooh.
raised on like this type of like horror, like I want to say family friendly type of horror, right?
Thank
It's
you for
not like a
recognizing his
necessary,
horror.
right? But I love that film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen.
I love Teen Wolf, the original, Michael J.
Oh
Fox.
my god, yes.
Yeah.
Real quick,
It's-
when he opens the door after he transforms for the first time, and his dad is on the other end, wolfed out.
Werewolf.
When I was younger, that was like that just scared me. Like, oh my
That's- you know,
god, I
that's what
wasn't
I'm
expecting
saying.
that.
That's
That
a
was
good shout out. That's a good shout out. Putting that Teen Wolf is actually a horror movie.
Yeah, horror
Because
comedy.
you're about to
of
find
course.
out that you're
Coming of
about to
age
find out
horror
you're a
comedy.
horror movie. I mean, sorry. You're about to find out you're a werewolf, and then Daddy's about to tell you, "So, son, let me tell you, we're lichens."
It's the right. It's a thing. Yeah.
Good shout, good shout.
All right. So number 8, Monster Squad.
Oh, Monster Squad.
Come on.
Oh,
I mean,
is that why you had the
Monster Squad.
shirt on?
No, this is just because I just like monsters in general. I do have a Monster Squad shirt. I probably should have worn that, but
Oh man,
I was like, I just want to let it be known that like I'm a monster guy. So
I still say
right.
to this day, before you continue, the Gill Man in that
Oh, hell
film
yeah.
was one of my favorite all-time horror. Not just with the makeup,
Yeah.
marvelous. That's all I gotta
the
say.
overall
Gillman,
look was great. I think they killed
Amazing.
it with that. Yeah,
amazing.
for sure. Number 7, Silver Bullet.
Love
I
it.
feel like this movie gets overlooked so
It does.
much. I mean,
It does. It
Steve
does.
Buscemi, you got what was
Corey Haim.
the kid?
Corey
Corey
Haim.
Haim,
yeah,
right?
Corey Haim.
And the wheelchair, and he's handicapped.
Yep.
To me, he sold it.
Yeah,
How
oh
do
my
you
God,
sell?
it's
How
so
do you
good.
how do you act that,
Well,
right? And
well,
he
it was
pulled
Gary
it off for
Busey.
me.
It was Gary Busey's creation of his
The wheelchair.
wheelchair.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
wheelchair.
Yeah, that was awesome. Being the crazy old uncle, I love that.
Let me ask you, Albert.
That was like
When-
awesome to
When
me.
you watched
I
that the
wanted
first
that.
time, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. When you
No.
watched that film the first time, right? Did you know who the wolf was until it was revealed, or before? Did you figure it out?
I was a little kid.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't remember either.
Like I said,
the
I
same
don't.
thing.
I
I
don't-
thought when you're older, you figure it out. Younger, you did not.
yeah.
Yeah,
I just remember being raised on this film, right? So it was like one of those ones that's just so in my childhood that I love this movie.
yeah, good shot,
And-
man. Your list is
right?
awesome so far, bro.
And then number 6 is probably gonna be Fright Night.
Too
So
bad you were
this is
not there
another
when we
film.
did that one.
It feels so like there's something that I can just throw this on and it makes me feel warm. I don't know if that makes sense, but
does.
it
No.
makes me happy
We
to
know,
watch
big
something
time.
like
We know.
this.
We know.
And then the wolf scene, not werewolf scene, but there's a wolf scene in that.
Yeah,
And if you know, you know. That scene is so fucking like in your
great
face.
transformation too. Like when
Yes.
sad, very
It's
sad.
just like, oh my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God. I love this. It's just so completely sold on that.
Roddy
right, you
McDowell.
guys-
Woof.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Sold it.
Yep.
Okay. You ready for the top 5?
we
Oh,
are
yeah.
ready. We ready.
I got my beer ready.
Bram Stoker's Dracula,
Good shout out.
Even
shout.
though as of recent, I've found out that it's been more romanticized over the book. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed, and I want to say it has to do with the practical effects in the film and the different creature designs that they came up with in the film that made it so like impactful for me. It's like, holy shit, that werewolf fucking the girl in the garden. I was just like, oh my god, what is happening? But it's awesome.
That's one of Gary Oldman's best performances. Then he gets overlooked.
No, real quick before we move
And
on from
Winona.
that, when the Dracula character takes off the robe and it's all like rats. Oh my god, I've never seen anything like that in a vampire film.
Right? We see each form that Dracula can take on in this film pretty much. I mean, the bat creature that he takes on, he actually turns into a wolf, I think, at some point. He turns into rats, he turns into mist. I mean, he's that old school looking vampire in the beginning and then becomes like the younger, like cool, like
hot looking.
And it's got Keanu Reeves.
It's the hot looking.
He's like hypnotizing females and stuff. It's
Monica Bellucci's in it.
You're thralled.
Monica Bellucci. You're right.
Yeah, Monica Bellucci's in it. Hello, Irreversible.
I did not know that actually.
This is one of the three.
Yeah. Monica.
All right.
Monica's fucking beautiful. She's so
Number 4. And again, these last several ones, they keep flopping back and forth, right? It's just
when we made our list, I promise you, Exorcist is number 1, but everything else flops around depending, as you said, when you're watching and the mood you're in.
Right? Yeah. So the next one is An American Werewolf in London. It's just it takes that anxious anxiety to the next level because it doesn't just throw it in your face. It kind of builds that tension, I feel like. And it doesn't really show the creature till the very kind of end. And having
the characters,
Is it the best transformation of a werewolf?
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't believe that's not even a question, right? That's like, there's no way.
Watch Rick's episode of An American Werewolf in London.
Side question: that's a given. What's the second best werewolf transformation, Albert? I know you're a werewolf guy. I know that. For you.
Well, okay. I don't want to say yet because of the fact that it's in my top
list.
Okay.
Right.
So that's
you know
why
what?
I don't want to say
I know what it is. I know what it is.
And there's a lot of controversy here because I know a lot of people say that this is the top werewolf movie. For me, there's another movie that trumps this one, and I feel like it like completely like it. So number 3, we're gonna go ahead and go with Lost Boys. This film for me is like just everything my childhood embodied. Was this film. I watched this movie so many times. I feel like I can just put it on the background and do house stuff, right? And it just I love that fucking movie.
The fact that there was comic book collectors in there was freaking amazing.
That too, right?
Yes.
The Frog Brothers as well, and I got the full set of the Pops too, the Funko Pops that came out. And I don't buy Funko Pops that much.
You said the magic word. Don't start.
I know you're talking mixed language. Funko Pops is great.
Listen, man, listen. I got a whole entire storage I pay for to hold my shit. So.
All right.
I don't have that set though. I wish I was collecting at that time, but
dude,
I was not collecting at that time. So yeah.
They had 2. They had a David that was like in vampire form that was exclusive to Target, and it came with like
the noodles. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
Yeah, David eating the noodles.
Yeah, I love. That's probably my favorite pop that I own.
Yeah.
So, all right, number 2, Interview with a Vampire. There's something about having this many top-notch actors in a movie that's horror based that I don't think I think it was before they knew they were gonna be big actors, right? Like you got Tom Cruise, you got Antonio Banderas. Are you guys ready for number one?
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
have
yeah.
feeling
Oh,
what
yeah,
it
I
is.
gotta get a sip. I need a
I
sip.
got, yeah, I have like one last sip for you on this one.
All right. So if you don't know, I'm a huge fan of werewolf films, and for me, I don't know, there's something about werewolves that I've always loved growing up. My top choice is The Howling.
Yes.
I knew it.
I don't know
Fucking
what it
Yeah.
is.
Cheers,
I
I know.
don't know what it is about this film that just creeps me out.
I know what it
don't
is.
know if
Classic,
it's
isn't
the-
You know what it is, Albert? Robotin. Robotin does not get enough flowers. This is the guy that gave us the fucking Thing. His special makeup effects work. And I'm glad and when you said it ain't American Werewolf, I knew it was a Howling. Because
Howling,
that
Howling, yeah.
transformation, bro.
Yeah. The
It
best-
also had a good storyline.
Second-
Howling had
second
a
best
great
transfer.
storyline.
Yeah. Continue. I'm sorry. Continue. You just, I love that film. That's why.
Well, you have they're tracking down a serial killer, right? And the reporter's going into that sex shop and she's trying to go and talk to him. And then you get that scene that's so like, it's like flashing and it's like, you don't know what's really happening. And he's coming up behind her and it's so fucking creepy. And it's just like that alone. And it's not even like the werewolf part, right? It's just him being a serial killer and she's trying to find out information. And then she can't get a hold of like the people that are supposed to be backing her up. So it's like, it's just a fucked up situation. And then you get into the whole colony that's up in the woods. And for me growing up, I always went and visited my dad who had a cabin in the woods. So as a child, this really resonated with me because it was like, fuck, dude, like hearing those sounds at night, not wanting to go out into the road at nighttime or even go outside because of all the creepy like little sounds and shit. It's just like it just like it ate at me. So for me, this movie is just, I love this film.
Yeah, it's a great
So
D. Wallace. It's a great film.
He
bro.
was so
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
yeah.
Joe
And
Joe
it's
Dante
got-
did
it's
it.
got-
Who did this?
yeah,
Joe Dante.
I thought it was.
it's got werewolf sex in it.
We're gonna wrap this up. Albert, any last words you want to say before we go home?
I just want to say thank you to you guys. I can tell you're passionate about the genre, and I can tell you that you guys love horror. Thank you so much for thinking about me and inviting me on your channel. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Thank you
definitely.
because you're.
Been dying for you to be on.
Yeah, we're a fan of your channel, and we knew. I said it a long time ago. I said,
Yeah.
this guy's one of us, man. We gotta bring him on the channel. Man. But I'm glad
Thank you.
we found the time, man. This won't be the last, so
Nope.
hopefully we'll see you again. We'll see you again.
Hell yeah.
All right, my brother. And JR, any last words?
Oh man, thank you for accepting the invite, man. I had to get you on, man. I had to get you on. Definitely, it was it was good. I mean, we don't get a list where it's all 80s horror.
Let me tell you, that list spoke
That
to
was
me.
an awesome
Great,
list.
great list. Great list.
Great
Not
list.
one movie in the 90s, I don't think.
Well,
Joe,
interview-
Joe
interview
the
was nice.
psychologist. Anything
Well-
else you wanna bring up?
No, man. Like, watch this movie. Just don't be hungover. That's
Don't be
all I'm saying.
hungover.
Be
Late
hungover.
night with the devil. Let me tell you, we
Gotta
talked.
be alert for it.
This is not elevated horror. This is a refreshing take on the subgenre because horror. So one thing I want to end with this. Horror is the only genre in cinema that has so many subgenres. You could do a comedy horror,
Yep,
a drama horror, a thriller horror, or grotesque horror. You could do body horror. You could do a noir horror. You could do anything horror, and if it's done well, it resonates with the viewer, not only with like the thrills and the chills, or if you're disgusted, but also with the characters and the story, and it sticks with you long after the ending credits. So I'm Ricky Grimes. Come back for the next one. Stay good, stay healthy, stay sane, drink beer. If you don't, drink some prune juice, but most of all, stay scared. Support horror cinema.